morning, good morning, good morning, Miss Danielle. Good morning, how are you? Good morning, our clubhouse family.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. You know, we got to have a conversation this morning with our industry.
This will be fun.
It will be interesting to say the least. We are watching, we're in this quote unquote post COVID season where we have survived 2020 and God bless. And, it's been an ordeal. It's been heavy and it's been a lot for all of us, across this nation. I always felt like as far as beauty and barber professionals were concerned, I always felt like we could handle, the COVID, this crisis. I felt like our training in health and safety and sanitation and infection control gave us the foundation for what we needed as beauty and barber professionals to go back to work. I advocated, our organization advocated on behalf of beauty and barber professionals to get back to work in this COVID season, and we've done it. And now we're on the heels of the vaccine, and many people are getting it. But I was tagged in an article on yesterday that I feel like we need to have a conversation about how this is being rolled out, specifically in Black salons and Black barbershops. So the article I was tagged in is from the Washington Post, and it says, offering beer, babysitting, and barbershop outreach, the White House launches new initiatives to boost vaccinations. The article goes on to say President Biden announced a raft of new private sector initiatives on Wednesday to encourage Americans to get vaccinated, as his administration increasingly looks to outside partners to help meet its goal of 70% of adult Americans with at least one shot of coronavirus vaccine by the 4th of July. Declaring June a national month of action, the administration wants to incentivize Americans who are hesitant about getting vaccinated with a range of perks, including free food delivery, baseball tickets, Xboxes, and chances to win cruise tickets, groceries for a year, and free airline flights. The White House also announced the launch of a handful of community-based outreach initiatives, included blanketing local media, providing colleges with resources, and launching an effort to recruit 1,000 Black-owned barbershops and beauty salons across the country. The more aggressive push to vaccinate Americans comes as just under 63% of American adults have received at least one dose of a vaccine, but demand is dropping, and the remaining unvaccinated population is becoming harder to reach and convinced that the vaccine is safe. As part of the announcement, Biden underscored the safety and efficacy of the authorized vaccines while warning of the dangers of remaining unvaccinated heading into the fall. Goes on to say, for all the progress we're making as a country, if you are unvaccinated, you are still at risk of getting seriously ill or dying or spreading the disease to others, especially when Americans spend more time indoors again. This is from Joe Biden. So as it says in the article, 1,000 salons and barbershops they're targeting across the country to push the vaccine. And I think it's a conversation that we need to have. Danielle?
Absolutely. I have my mic off because my neighbor is mowing the lawn. So I wasn't sure, of all times of day, but I wanted to make sure that there wouldn't be any interruption while you were speaking. But yes, I think this is a conversation that must be had because it does affect our not only our community but our industry. And our industry, especially the Black beauty industry, has taken a significant hit over the past year and a half. Just with the closing of so many barbershops and salons, people, really having to downsize, just really not being able to get access to the proper resources and financial gains. It has just really, really put us in a state of emergency almost. I know so many that have had to close and are just on the verge of losing everything. So just like with everything else, I think that we do have to have this conversation because I believe it just kind of opens the door into another realm. Because I'll be honest, anything that makes any time they're giving away things for free and they're offering incentives, it makes me nervous. um, and then I'm also listening to the actual items that they're offering, to me, I think it just really lessens how they value the Black community. Xboxes and free babysitting. I mean, I think that should really just be an eye opener of how they really view us nationally. I mean, that's I don't know, that just doesn't sit well with me at all.
I don't think it sits well with a lot of people in the Black community. Um, it doesn't. It doesn't with me, and I'm just going to speak personally to me. COVID hit us, I believe, in my household before we knew what COVID was. My younger son, I believe, had COVID before we knew what COVID was, and I'm totally believe I was exposed to, because I took care of him. He was really, really sick before we knew what COVID was. Um, then later in the year, my older son, he actually did have COVID, and I took care of him. Um, so I believe for me personally, I do probably have antibodies. Um, and I'm very mindful of my health. I do everything I can to stay very healthy and eating right and doing my rest and water and everything I need to do. I do it. So I don't need. I'm not an advocate personally. This is my personal opinion, not an opinion of our organization or our efforts. So make sure I make that disclaimer. But I personally am not one that I am very trusting of the government, and I don't trust the vaccine. The technology behind it, this is my personal opinion, is unnerving to me. This is not a traditional vaccine with the mRNA technology. So I am not an advocate for getting the vaccine. It's new. It's not FDA approved. It's still experimental. And Black people, we have historically, we've been used as guinea pigs. And you can't change that narrative. We know our history. And we're not going to go, honestly, we're just not going to go backwards. We're too woke for that.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
Danielle. I hate to be on the soapbox.
You know what? I forgot that I almost wasn't on Clubhouse. I'm ready to start flashing my mic.
I see you Clubhouse family over there. We do have
so I'm flashing my mic to my Clubhouse peeps. But that's definitely something that stays in the back of my mind. Even historically, yes, there have been so many examples of how we were misused, taken advantage of, and treated, like you said, as guinea pigs. They've tested out experimental drugs. I mean, this is an experimental vaccine, and I think we cannot ignore those facts. And even just from my own experience, there have been times where I've had to walk out of emergency rooms because the care was I was ignored. I was treated like a less than a human being. I've had to report certain doctors and nurses to, the higher ups because of just the services was, just wasn't up to par for me or my children. So those things just cannot be ignored. And my thing is, if you choose to take the vaccine, that is your personal business. Just like the flu shot, just like getting a pneumonia shot or a tetanus shot. That is your personal business. That is your choice. And I believe what's happening is that it's almost, becoming where we are losing our liberties, our freedoms one by one. And, to me, it's one thing to have to wear a mask across your face. It's something different when you're being injected with, with a substance that you don't really know what's going inside of you. And I understand that there is a generation of people that have a mindset that they may trust the doctor. They may watch the news. They may trust the medical professionals that appear on your screen on a daily basis. But I believe that there's also a new generation, a new mindset, a new level of understanding. Like you said, we are woke. And I believe that we are in a time where there's so much access to information where you can do your own research. You don't have to rely on what is being said or what is being flashed across your computer screen or your television set. You have to do your own research. And I'll say this, I read where someone has said that, people have been getting vaccinations for years, but there's also a lot of reports and there are statistics that show that a lot of these vaccinations have caused a lot of underlying conditions, especially in children. So I don't want to open up that rabbit hole, but we have to do our research. We cannot just be so eager to have an opportunity to, that we miss out on what's the underlying issue, what's really happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, I'm actually going to read some of the comments. I won't call the names, but I'll read some of the comments. I posted this on Facebook, and the post went crazy. Barbershops and Salons is vaccine sites. One post is, they're pushing the vaccine for all people, especially those who work with the public. She says, get vaccinated so we can get back to doing what we love normally, please. And another comment is, why Black owned? And there it goes back to your comments, Danielle, Black owned. Why are they targeting Black owned or Black salons and barbershops? Another comment is, I don't like what I'm hearing about the side effects. And this is someone who's hesitant. That's not Black. Here's another comment. They're trying to reach communities with statistically higher vaccine hesitancy. Black folks very understandably tend to have distrust of healthcare being provided to them because of the systemic disparities that have prevailed in our society. Another comment says, just do it. Another comment, why not? American states are falling. At least I have one. I live in one that leads along with upper northeast states, Hawaii and Minnesota. Go get vaccinated. Stop this nasty COVID-19. Here's a professional. She says, I'm fully vaccinated and most of my clients, it's weird that they're trying to push it. My coworkers were vaccinated as well. So we have comments from a range of, thoughts and, emotions about this vaccine and the hesitancy. But just the fact that they're pushing it specifically through our communities, it's unnerving to me. Going back to what you said, Danielle, about the mask mandate, I am personally here in Georgia, and our governor has decided not to mandate masks for, kids going back to school. I appreciate that. And when you talk about our liberties and our freedoms, this is a country where, that is the foundation of why this country is quote unquote great, is that we do have freedoms and liberties, and I want to see that prevail. I don't want to see us be forced to do anything. I don't want to see us, and I think there's a lot of people who are going to fight back, and I'll be fighting with them. Danielle, you want to chime in?
Yes, ma'am. So I absolutely agree. I just think that we definitely should be able to have a choice. It should be a personal choice if I choose to go and vaccinate myself and my family. And I should also not be ridiculed or um, be spoke down to because if I choose not to. And I think that that's the part that people are missing is that I just believe that it's been so politicized that we're missing the factor of people. I mean, ultimately, what is normal? What is normal? When people say, "Oh, I want to get back to normal life," what exactly was that normal life? A lot of people were not washing their hands. I mean, I've been in public bathrooms where I've heard people come in, do their business, and they leave right back out the door. They don't even, I don't hear any water running. I don't hear, any paper towels being used. There's people that were, didn't necessarily have the proper diet, was not exercising, and I think that that's what we need to focus on more so is our personal health, our immune system. Why are we not focused on building up our immune system to fight off every other cold or flu or pneumonia virus that goes around? I just think that it's just another way to really come in and divide our community and now our industry yet again to put people against each other. Because as long as we stay divided, there's no power, there's no unity, there's no connection for us to fight against issues that greatly affect us. And that's the problem that I have of why. So I should go and get this vaccine so that you all will send me and my family on a vacation. But what happens when there's side effects? And there are a lot of side effects. They don't necessarily want to, publicize these things. But there are a lot of people, of all races and cultures that have dealt with a lot of side effects, including death. And one thing that I think is not being talked about is if this does cause death, with everything that you do, there's always that slight chance that you might be that person that actually dies from that, from this vaccination. There's no help. There's no assistance with that. And there's nothing your family can do to even reach out and speak to the pharmaceutical companies because there's a disclaimer when you receive your vaccination that they are not held responsible or liable for anything that happens to you or your children. There have been children that have had complications behind this. And what they like to say is, oh, well, that person had or may have had underlying health issues. There were two news reports that I had just seen within the last few weeks of people who were temporarily paralyzed. And these people were healthy people, no underlying issues, great health, great shape within their 30s. And they were paralyzed. And one woman had small children, and I mean, my heart just went out to this woman because she's like, I can't even raise, like, I can't even do the things that I want to do with my children. I can't perform my motherly duties. I can't go back to work. So what happens when, those are the things that are not being talked about that I think we need to definitely have an understanding and do our research on. It's bigger than just, free food or some kind of stipend. It should be, like I said, it should be a personal choice.
Amen. I'm gonna read some more of the comments. This one says, "Why get a vax for something that is 99.98% survivable? Too much is unknown at this time, and now Fauci has had his corrupt emails exposed." So this is deep. They are not forcing salon suites to take vaccines. I have not heard of that, nor will I be taking any plans. So she's saying she's not going to take any some typos there. She's not going to have any plans to take the vaccine, and they haven't made it mandated in the salon suites where she works. This person says, "Well, I'm in favor of the vaccine, and since COVID affected Black race in high numbers, after almost dying from COVID-19, I encourage everyone to get vaccinated. If you're suffering as I have, the vaccine is not as bad as COVID. And the 5 after effects called COVID syndrome." So she had COVID, and she said she almost died, and she has some after effects from having the COVID-19 virus. This person says, surprises me we have all these thoughts, theories, almost every reason you can think of not to get this shot. And yet those of us who had children not once asked those physicians what's in the injections they gave our babies. We just offered them up because some physicians said they had to get them. Your kids have to have certain vaccinations at various grades, and we have to show proof they had them. Science worked then. We must trust that. I am not understanding. I took mine without no issues. Well, I'm not going to take mine without no issues.
Right. That is her personal. And that's what I mean. Just because she was able, or he or she was able to take the vaccination and everything was fine for her, that doesn't mean that it's going to be okay for the next person that takes the vaccine as well. That's her. But that was also their personal choice. They chose to take it without question, without doing any research, without, really understanding what's being injected into their bodies and what may happen in the long term. So yeah, you might be okay this year, you might be okay next year, but what happens when there's things that happen down the line? This vaccination has not been in production long enough or in rotation long enough to really understand or to see any forthcoming issues that you might have down the line.
Yeah. This person says the inner wall of your heart might be weakened if you take the Pfizer vaccine. It's heart disease slash inflammation. The next person says not taking the vaccine no matter what. Another person, she said, they're chasing folks down in my local Walmart talking about, ma'am, sir, would you like to get a COVID vaccine today? And she said, shaking my head. One person says, nothing to be afraid of. My whole family is vaccinated and no side effects at all. And just like I said, bringing it into the salons and barbershops, specifically the Black salons and Black barbershops, is where I think it's troubling to me. It is pushing our community when, like you said, Danielle, where's the focus on health? Where's the focus on, a lot of these salons and barbershops in our inner cities, a lot of these are food deserts. They don't have access to fruits and vegetables, fresh fruits and vegetables, real food. They eat a lot of processed foods, canned foods. Where's the push for that? You can spend the monies and have the resources to push the vaccine in these communities. Where's the money to make sure that there's fresh food and these people are able to eat and take care of themselves properly? Where's that?
And what about the professionals that don't have access to health insurance? There are a lot of independent contractors out there that don't have access to health care. So you're able to go and get this free vaccination. Well, what happens when, you actually need medical care and now you're stuck trying to figure out where you can go to obtain medical treatment or medical care?
Yeah.
I mean, so.
Robert says, I'm not really worried about people who will or will not take the vaccine. I suspect there will be many who opt out. Yeah, like me. I have opted out. I asked my cousin, she's a nurse. She's been in the medical field for quite a number of years. I said, how many viruses are actually in the body? And her answer to me was millions. So going back to the lady at the comment for my thread, the comment was about being 99.98% that people are able to survive this. We have millions of viruses in our bodies, and this may be one that, we'll have to, it'll live in most of us. Like I said, I do believe, because I've been exposed, I believe I have antibodies. So.
Right. And I think that's what we should be focusing on as well. Whether you obtain the vaccination or not, you still have a responsibility for yourself to maintain maximum health. to me, that's getting back to normal, being able to exercise, being able to eat properly. I grew up in the projects, and we didn't have a lot of access to fruits and vegetables and things of that sort. We relied on free school lunches. And, I missed the government, the passing out of the government cheese, but we went to food banks, and, my mom was able to get free food. But as I think back, those choices wasn't always the best of the best. You had the can of chicken, the can of pork. We would have the thick block of cheese and things like that. But we ate, and we may do bologna and ham and things of that sort. But now looking back, why were they not passing out orange juice and apples and fruit? And that's what I'm saying. Just because it's free doesn't mean that it's right. Just because we have access to certain things, does that mean that we're supposed to partake in it?
Yeah. Yeah, but we're gonna wrap this up in about 3 minutes, Danielle. I just want to say that to the salons and barbershops, this is not to say whether you should or you shouldn't. This is a dialogue between myself and Danielle. I am the senior advocate of politics, beauty and barber, president of the concern Beauty and Barber Professionals. Danielle is the vice president of the concern Beauty and Barber Professionals, and she's an advocate without effort. So we're here speaking very personally, not specific to our organization and our efforts, because we don't want you to forget that we are about strengthening the professional license. This is why we organize. This is what we do. We're about continuing education for the beauty and barber industry. This is who we are. This is what we do. But our salons and barbershops are safe havens, specifically for the Black community. Our salons and barbershops are safe havens. So let's not be captivated by the incentives, to the money that could possibly come, because I'm sure they're going to pay you something to have someone in there. Let's not be, caught up with the incentives that come with offering this in your salon and barbershop. Let's be mindful that the community respects us. They respect our opinion. Let's be mindful that, I believe we might want to just stay neutral. You don't tell people they should or they shouldn't. Let it be their own personal choice and their own personal decision. And we as an industry, I don't know. Danielle, what's your thoughts? That was mine. What are yours?
I believe that we definitely should stay neutral. I believe that there are other ways to utilize our businesses and our professionalism, because we do get opportunities to get up close and personal with our clients, with our customers, with our guests. And a lot of them do rely on what we say. They trust us with their hair, with their wellness. And I believe that, to push the vaccinations upon people who may share the fact that they're not ready. They want to give it some more time. And then on the strength that you told them to go get this, what happens when, I'm always the type of person, I'm thinking, I'm always kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop. So what happens if this particular person does have a reaction to it, and now they're going to look at you and say, well, you told me to go and get that. So what kind of responsibility, I should say, will fall upon my business if I'm pushing this? Being a small business owner, I don't have access to a lot of the resources that a major corporation has, like a Walmart, where they can really cover themselves in the case that somebody wants to come after me, because they say, well, Danielle told me to go and get this vaccination for me and my family. And now, something has happened. And like I said, there's not a whole lot of assistance when these situations occur, because they don't want to, what am I trying to say? They don't want to really put the vaccination in a bad light So they'll find alternative reasonings as to why you may be suffering from whatever may have happened. So I think that we just need to be smart, and we have to just really move strategically in this season, because, I'm just looking at it like, if, it just seems that they want to, the Black beauty industry is always overlooked when it comes to so many different things. But yet, for this specific agenda, for this specific purpose, now they want to come into the Black community and utilize our voices. And, it's just sad that we're overlooked on every other subject, except for now we're important. Now what we have to say matters. That should just really be eye-opening for a lot of us professionals, especially the beauty salon and barbershop owners. Like you said, don't just look at this as an opportunity for a photo shoot or to have your business on the news or in the newspaper. Really take a look at what is going on behind the scenes, and what is the motivation of, this administration to do this. Whereas, a lot of us wasn't able to get loans, PPP loans, EDIL loans, business loans, business credit. I mean, there's so many other ways that they could offer us assistance in this time. And I just really think that we need to pay attention to those things.
Yeah. And you nailed it. And we're going to leave it there. And we're going to leave it there, Danielle. That sums it up. And I just hope that our industry will look at this holistically and make the right decision, and let people make decisions for themselves. Give them the information, but let them make decisions for themselves. And I just believe we should stay neutral.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to say thank you, Tamara, for, taking the time to even have this conversation. I saw that some people had the opinion of, well, what's the point? Why are we having these conversations? And I just want to say, why are we not having more conversations about the things that greatly affect us, not only as a community, but as a beauty industry? So I just wanted to thank you for just creating this safe space, because we're not here to judge anyone. We're not here to ostracize anyone. We just want to get the conversation started. And if anything, we want to leave people with the fact that you do have a choice. As of right now in our country, you still have, freedom of choice. So just make sure that you're utilizing that and you're making the best choice for you and your family, you and your situation.
And with that, thank you, Miss Danielle. We do this on Clubhouse. If you're not on Clubhouse, we try to do this on YouTube as well, but we definitely do this on Clubhouse Monday through Thursday. Our time now is 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk and engage with our fellow beauty and barber professionals. So thank you, Danielle, for joining me today.
Of course. Thank you, like I said, for just offering us this conversation. And I also just wanted to throw in a shameless plug for Industry Day. We are hosting the 8th annual Industry Day, and it will be virtual. So please join us. And, we have a great day set up with a lot of great things in store. Awesome. Tamara has the flyer posted. I mean, I believe the price is extremely reasonable, and you get a chance to kind of hang out with us, learn from other industry professionals, gain a lot of information, and just be a part of, being a part of the movement of what we have going here. So thank you all for joining us.
Yes, thank you. And we hope to see you at Industry Day. Go to the website. It's Politics Beauty Barber, politicsbeautybarber.org. Please go to the website, register. It is on June the 14th, just a few more days, and it's right around the corner. So please go to the website and register. We look forward to having you. Thank you, Danielle.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And we hope to see you again. Please join us on June 14th for Industry Day.